Okay, we're talking about the finale of season 3. The show must go on, so let's jump in. Oh my god, that crazy dream that Nathan has of Haley drowning and he can't save her, and then he tells Lucas, who's at the river court, because he can't sleep. That's what he does. He misses the game, and he's like, I tell you what, I'll go see Haley for you, because of course Haley insisted on not seeing each other before the wedding. And he's like, come on, Nathan, it's your wedding day. It's gonna be a great day. Ooh! Dan is at Keith's grave, and here comes Deb. You're closer than the 100 feet, because the restraining order. And he's like, you know, everybody thinks Keith was the perfect guy, and he wasn't. No, he was. He was a hero. He's like, yeah, well, he tried to kill me, so I guess he got what was coming to him. Okay, I must have missed something. I thought that Dan knew that Deb tried to kill him. Like, what? Oh my god, there's a Sunkiss. Why is Haley wearing a Sunkiss shirt? Oh, Haley goes to Karen to ask her if it's okay for her to wear the dress that's made out of her material. Oh, I legit keep forgetting that Peyton and Brooke live together. So Peyton's like, where'd you sleep last night? My car, because I had a dream. My boyfriend, my best friend told me that she has feelings for my boyfriend. Oh wait, it wasn't a dream. Okay, I'm kind of torn in this scene because, like, I understand fully why Brooke is upset, but I've noticed, like, her moods going from, like, 0 to bitch in, like, the blink of an eye. And she slaps Peyton when Peyton says, you said you really didn't even miss him. And yeah, it's kind of a shitty time to say that. But, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like Brooke's emotions were just, woo, like, one spectrum to the other so quick. But I can agree with Brooke. I mean, like, why did you tell her, Peyton? I mean, yes, she wanted to be honest, but it's kind of like, come on. You had to know that wasn't going to go over well. You've known Brooke forever. You kind of know her, Peyton. Like, you had to know that wasn't going to go over great. Oh, wait a minute. Brooke said she's late. Of course, then she says she's late to get ready, but she's stressed and she's worried about her speech and she doesn't want, you know, Lucas to talk to Peyton today. Oh my god. Wow. So Deb and Dan and Nathan in the limo. That looked to be like the most awkward car ride ever. Really, Cooper? You did her 3 times knowing she was 17? And you want to come and saying you made a mistake? And, you know, this is where I don't like Rachel, because he even said, don't make this about you. This is Nathan and Haley's day. And she's like, I wouldn't think of it. Bullshit. My God, I'm so torn when Dan has these moments of seeming like he's really being nice. And he's tying Lucas's tie, and then Karen looks amazing, by the way, and so does Deb, but she, you know, Deb's like, he thinks it was Keith, and Karen is like, yeah, but, you know, his need for revenge was buried with Keith, so let it be. She's like, I don't, and, you know, you can tell Deb's not feeling that. Oh my God. I love that Nathan's so worried and he just wants to hear her voice. And she's like, he's like, where are you? I'm right here. She's in this horse-drawn carriage and he's so happy. And she's, oh my God, it's so cute. Oh, Lucas. Oh, I'm sorry, princess. I was looking for my friend Haley. Ah, you're too much. Oh my God, Haley's parents. Yeah, I invited them, but they said, sorry, honey, we've been to your wedding before and it was a little boring. Oh my God. And then she's like, I'll just give myself away. And Lucas is like, or I could do it if you'll have me. Ah! Okay, Mr. Charm Buckets. And he's like, you know, but I gotta be honest, I can never officially give you away. I won't give away my best friend. Oh, shush! You're just too much! Rachel saying this, I mean, Brooke saying the same thing to Rachel that Rachel said to Cooper, you look almost as hot as me. And Rachel's like, sounds like something I'd say. And here comes Peyton. Brooke's like, Rachel, let's go find you a seat, friend. Ugh. And of course, Lucas sees Peyton and's like, I've been informed not to talk to you. And Peyton's like, well, if Brooke wants you to avoid me, just do it. And he's like, you look nice. Deb and Dan walking down the aisle, and Deb's like, you feeling sentimental, Deb? She's like, feeling nauseous, actually. And then when Peyton walks up and past Nathan, she's like, yeah, had your chance. And then Brooke's like, looking at Coop, want to make it a double ceremony, Coop? What is going on? Brooke's like, now I know what this dress looks like on a witch. And Peyton's like, go Brooke yourself. It's like, ladies, come on now. My God, Dan, why are you trying to, like, put your hand on Deb's hand? Like, give it up, bro. And here comes, you know, and here's Karen, like, looking over where Keith should be. Sadness. Oh, those vows were beautiful, y'all. Feels all around. And Nathan popping out with that new ring. Go, man, go! Okay, I did notice the looks that Peyton was giving Lucas, and I thought he was looking at her for a moment. And then at the end of the ceremony, I see Dan and Deb, and Dan is like, one day we're going to walk back down the aisle again, Deb. You'll see. First off, get out of Delusionville, man. And then Deb's like, wake up, Dan. I don't love you. I'm not coming back. And Keith didn't try to kill you. I did. What is up with the timing? Nobody's got good timing here. This is not working for me. So Dan is shocked, sitting there alone by himself. And here comes ghost young Keith and doing the finger gun. And, you know, Dan is thrown for a loop for sure. And who paid for this wedding, by the way? It's very nice. Rachel doesn't like Cooper flirting with the musician. The pianist, the lady who played the piano. Peyton and Brooke were very, you know, Peyton's trying to talk to Brooke, and, you know, Peyton asked, do you love him? And she's like, how dare you? And she goes, yeah, by the way, none of those words were, Peyton, I love him. She's got a point. Okay, I really thought that Dan knew that Deb tried to kill him before now. I swear he did. I don't know. I missed something. So, like, him being so shocked at this information is shocking to me because I missed something along the way. I thought he knew before now. And him crying at Keith's grave because now he has a whole different kind of guilt. Although I don't know why Deb insisted on telling. I mean, I guess I know why. Because, I don't know. I just feel like, lady, I don't know. You wanted to, you know, calm things down between this shit with you and Dan. And I don't think it's going to do that now. In fact, I know it's not. And then, freaking Lucas, man. He's like, what is this about? And here, you know, he is telling Brooke about the kiss that he had with Peyton after she got shot. Oh my God. And of course, you know, they're on the dance floor dancing. So the videographer is getting all of this. Oh my God. Brooke's performance in the moment of just let me all the way in. You know, and, you know, it was shitty of Lucas to bring up the whole sleeping with Chris Keller thing because they weren't really together at that point. And it is like, don't use it as a bargaining chip, dude. And then it's just like, but her whole performance of just like the crying and the pain, you felt that emotion, like, just let me in, you know, like, we've got to go give our toast now, you know? Okay, who did it better? I think Lucas's speech was lovely and eloquent, and I think that Brooke's speech got me all the way in the field. Oh my God. Okay, so, okay, I couldn't remember if this was the episode where we find out Karen is pregnant, and she looks terrified, and Dan looks awful, and he's here, and they're alone, and he's telling her, I'm sorry for the way I treated you and Lucas and Keith. And then she's like, I'm pregnant. And he tries to go to hug her and she's like, get away from me. And it's just like this terrified thing. And then he just hugs her and she lets him. And he's like, I'm going to be here for you. This is like Bizarro World. Like, oh my God. Wow. Like, I really did forget that this happened here. Like, I don't remember it happening that way. Like, wow. Emotion. Oh my God, I love Cooper's toast. Haley is classy and attractive and all these, and my knucklehead nephew is not. But they give us hope that love is attainable for the rest of us. Way to save it, Coop. So much for Rachel not making it about her on Haley and Nathan's day, as she makes a toast after Cooper, saying, yeah, Cooper doesn't think 17-year-olds know anything about love, but it didn't stop him from sleeping with me to sex with Cooper. As she proceeds to make it worse by stealing the honeymoon limo as Cooper jumps in the car to try to stop her. Poor Rachel, thinking that Cooper loved her, but I think she just wanted that. She's a lost little girl inside, I feel like, on this scene. And then we see Lucas giving his car to drive off to the airport to Nathan and Haley. And Haley's like, I'm driving? No. We're going to London for a few days. Doesn't it always rain there? And Nathan's like, oh yeah. Okay, so I don't really know what changed Brooke's mind, but all of a sudden she's like being nice to Lucas again. That was cute. Haley and Nathan are driving off and she puts the bracelet on his wrist. Don't say I never gave you nothing. And they're all, oh, we're so hopeful. And Lucas tells Peyton, hey, I accidentally told Brooke about the kiss in the library. And he's like, okay, sorry, bye. Ah, yes. And then we see here, it's like, Lucas grabs the purse and is like, sees the pregnancy test. Hey, Ma, are you? Yes, I'm pregnant, but that's not my purse. Maybe Brooke. Oh, no. Good grief. Brooke is just like, I want you to understand something. This friendship's over, and if we never speak again, that'll be just fine. I gave you a second chance, and you blew it. Okay. You know, I'm having a real hard time finding sympathy for Cooper here. I mean, you still slept with her after knowing her age. That's, like, kind of unacceptable for me, because now you're just like, oh, I was just having a good time, but you acted like the age was such a problem. But if it was such a problem, why did you sleep with her after you knew? Weak, man, weak. And she's like torn up because she's like a teenager and she thought it meant something and she's devastated. Ugh. Oh my God. Okay, so Karen's pregnant. Now Karen and Lucas think Brooke is pregnant. Obviously, Rachel's telling Cooper that she's pregnant, pulls the wheel. They go off the bridge right before they almost hit Nathan and Haley. But before that, Haley's like, I have something to tell you, Nathan. Oh my God. Okay, that water looks really gross from the bridge, but then on the camera, it looks all clear. And I'm sorry, but like, it's so dramatic because then Nathan jumps into this dirty ass water to go save his uncle who just went under in the car. And then like, wait a minute, like, where is Dan? It's saying murderer on the wall in red paint. I'm hoping that's all it is. Oh my God, like, wow. Okay, so like, how much screaming did Haley have to do in this scene? Because she is like screaming her head off, and Nathan's like in the car now, like get stuck, like help me, like oh my God. And here comes the bracelet floating to the top of the water so dramatically. I forgot how intense this finale on this season finale was. Oh my God. Okay. And I remember they said on a previous podcast of how much money they spent to get this Led Zeppelin song, which I can imagine was a pretty penny. Okay, let's listen to the podcast. Okay, so we're talking about the finale podcast episode. Well, first I want to say how fun was for them to share the live podcast of one of their live shows with us. That sounded so enjoyable. And the final episode, I think this is like kind of one of my more favorite episodes. In my top 10 probably. There's just so much going on in this episode. So yeah, like, just to say, like, water episodes sound like really expensive and complicated. And yeah, having to be like stuck in a car underwater, that's a yikes moment. So I have to agree, yeah, like Brooke really did go like all the way hard with her reaction to Peyton about a boy. It was, but you know, in that emotional state of being a teenager, it does happen. Like, things get so blown out of proportion, and feelings, you're in your feelings and you react on those feelings. But you know, and it's the trust breach thing. That is a real thing that's very, very relatable. And yes, Hillary, I can agree, female fights are crazy, complicated, and kind of the worst. And I have to say I kind of disagree, but well, I just have to say a kiss can really mean nothing. Like, it really depends on a person's mindset, for sure, the individual, but like, a kiss can mean nothing. I do agree with that. And yes, it was really interesting how they said like teenagers tend to take the scraps in relationships. But the thing is, we just have to learn not to do that as adults. It's all learning those lessons. It's funny that Brooke and Peyton, or, you know, Hillary and Sophia didn't think that they looked pretty, or they felt not pretty in their bridesmaids dresses, because I thought they looked great. But it's so wild how that works. In James, again, I can agree. He could be an action star. I mean, jumping into that nasty water, like, ugh, I really hope that was a tank and not the river, because that water did not look great. And speaking of gross water, I can't believe that Joy was able to kayak down the LA River. I didn't think you could do that. Rachel certainly didn't like to be ignored, and I think that kind of flipped her psycho switch, but at the same time, it all boils down to, like they said, she's just a girl that wants to be loved. She's looking to fill that void in her life. And was One Tree Hill taking storylines from Friends? That's an interesting point that Joy has made before, so that's interesting. And I think Dan and Deb loathing each other walking down the aisle was like one of the funniest points of this episode. And I'm totally at that point in my life, just like the lady said, where I just want a friend gathering where all I have to do is show up. I mean, I'll help, but it's like, if I need to, like, if you need me to help, I'm here. But it's like, it's just nice to kind of have those times and just show up and enjoy yourself, you know? And honestly, you know, the whole Dan tying Lucas's like tie thing was very uncomfortable, as was his remorseful moment with Karen and trying to hug her. And he was just, I mean, it really does boil down to that whole point of narcissists really don't do anything except for themselves. Like, even when they're being legit, like, honest, it's still the ulterior motive that it's for them somehow. So Peyton was just in a shitty situation all around. I mean, there was really no correct answer. Not telling Brooke, telling Brooke. And, you know, I believe that Sophia was right in that everybody was right and everybody was wrong, because life is super messy. And I still think that Peyton should have just like gone out of town to school. She should have just got out of that town and gone somewhere else to go to school and just left it all behind, because seriously, it was always so difficult for her. And of course, the moment of Brooke's character crying and you know, kind of talking, yelling, you know, expressing her emotions to Lucas is such a beautifully raw and devastating moment. And it's really it's one of those iconic moments of this series. And it just kind of goes back to the whole, boys are wired differently. They think so differently, and it's frustrating as hell. But those are my thoughts on the episode for the podcast. This was the finale. We're going to move on to the next season, and a lot jumps off in the next season for those of us in the know. And I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe. I'll see you next week.